Hey everybody, it's Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, and I've got my new worker helper here.
Hi.
What's your name?
Aiden.
That's my son. Aiden is doing homeschool now, so we're pretty excited. So if you notice, the white 2004 Expedition that I changed the spark plugs and coils on is back. Okay, and the story behind it, from what I understand, is about 3 weeks after I changed the spark plug, there was a knock-in ticking noise. And, you know, it's possible that sometimes these spark plugs will work themselves loose after doing the job, and sometimes you can develop a knocking, ticking noise. So I originally, said, okay, well, let's get this figured out. I did diagnose it, and from what I understand, about a week, maybe a few days, I guess, after the knocking, ticking noise developed, the customer was, the owner of the vehicle was driving the car, and from what the computer told me, she was at a dead stop when it started running extremely rough. Okay, so, my computer checked the STS status on the cylinders. It did pull code. I had a stored freeze frame data code of a specific cylinder number 2 misfire. I also went in and looked at the IM readiness and the monitoring on the coils from the computer to the coils, and cylinder number 2 and cylinder number 4 constantly failed the onboard system diagnostics for a misfire. So I did go ahead and I warrantied out the 4 coils on that side, and you can see them here. These are the ones that I removed, and I put the new ones on. All right. Now, but I kind of suspected that we were still going to have a knocking in the engine and some other noises, because this engine is notorious for being a horrible engine. There are all kinds of lawsuits out there. There's a ton of information very readily available to the public concerning how horrible this engine is. The design behind it was just a major mistake. It's a 3-valve engine. It's got hydraulic lifters and rockers and rollers and cam phasers and timing chains, and there's all kinds of stuff in there. And they're a mess. Well, what happens on these at around 80 to about 120,000 miles, what they're very well known for is for the cam phasers to go out on them. And what a cam phaser is it sits on the front of the camshaft up here, on both sides of the engine, underneath the valve cover there. And basically what it does is it fine-tunes and finally adjusts the camshaft as it's turning in there. Well, if those cam phasers goes out, it'll cause a knocking, ticking noise, and it also will cause this engine to run all kinds of rough, because now you've got valves that aren't opening and closing correctly. So one of the best ways to find this is to use a stethoscope. Okay, and what this stethoscope will allow us to do is it'll allow us to listen internally underneath those valve covers, and if there's a difference in noises, like for example, if we hear a ticking noise here and we don't hear one here, well then it's obvious that this is the bad cam phaser, and so on and so on. And I'll just tell you right now, all the noise is coming out from this side, from the left side of the engine over here. So I'm going to hand the camera to my helper Aiden, and he's going to record it while I go get it started. Now Aiden, watch out where you put your fingers, because the speaker is right there.
Wait, where?
Right there.
Right there?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so go ahead and get this started.
So where do I put the camera at?
It's already recording, kiddo.
Oh.
And so if you notice, it doesn't want to start very well. Doesn't want to idle very well either. Okay, so what we're going to do here Aiden. Stand up here. There you go. So we're going to use the stethoscope here. Okay. camera for me?
Okay.
And we're going to check up front here. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to check the same spot up front. And I'm going to need to grab the bucket so I can have something to stand on.
Okay.
And what I can hear that I don't think you can hear is that when I check this side, you can definitely hear the clacking. Clack, 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 clack. So you can definitely hear the clacking with the stethoscope coming out from underneath that valve cover. And you know, it's the way it works. Now, that cam phaser going out and going bad like that, that's going to affect gas mileage. That's going to affect drivability. And let me show you another thing that you can do. You see, it's only at idle that we have this issue. If we bring it above 2,500 RPMs, the engine smooths out. And then another thing, I don't know if you can hear it, but right at about, I'd say 1,800 RPM, you can really hear it ticking underneath there. And again, that's because the cam phasers are more than likely going to be out. And the valves are not opening and closing correctly. Rockers aren't working right. All that stuff isn't working right underneath there. So the next real step to checking this out is to go ahead and get the valve covers removed. And that's never a fun job because, as you can see, everything that needs to get out of the way so you can get the valve covers removed. And what you'll see a lot of times is the wheel on the front of the cam phaser may be out too far. It may be bent. Or the locking pin inside of there, oil pressure may have for some reason bled off, and the locking pin is no longer any good. There's a bunch of reasons why the cam phasers go out on these deals. The real main reason is that they're just a bad design altogether. So probably what I'll do is I'll obviously clean my stethoscope, but I'll probably see if the customer wants to come out and listen for themselves. So that way they can hear the difference in the ticking noise coming from underneath the valve cover on this side of the engine and the ticking noise coming from underneath there. All right, everybody. Well, this is Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Thanks for checking me out. We'll see where this one goes.